Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Star Wars Galaxy of Yeti is coming to you, and we're just going over the developer Q&A for December, and it's a bit of a shit show, I'm not gonna lie. Essentially, they didn't do all that much to really kind of speak of the light side territory battle issues with difficulty. They said that it's working as intended, and then unless there was a massive player response to it, meaning like most guilds don't do it, they aren't adjusting the the difficulty of it. So something that is not even achievable to be beat at the current game. They said, but anyway, we're going to get into that. So here in the general, there's not a ton that's new that's going on in here. There were some questions about alternating light side, dark side, etc. But that nothing really big and exciting. They did mention Echo's basic getting buffed with the crit damage up, but it says here that that was something that was going to synergize, but it was too strong, so they took it out. So now they're going to try to fix Omega's basic Omega with something else, but judging at how slow they are, I wouldn't hold my breath. Let's see. Neutral tag is still something that they want to keep, even though nobody uses it. So that's been mentioned. Apparently, beta testing program is still live, although I don't think it gets used at all, judging by the crap that's come out in the last year with this company. They made an interesting thing about guild sandbagging here in the beginning of the economy topic. And they're just like, they said they don't understand how sandbagging is going to effectively change a match. But it's strange because you'll have, if you have, say, a guild that's 130 or 140 million GP, and then they get faced up against a guild that has 30 members, but also have 130 or 140 million GP, there's a better chance they're going to have stuff like General Skywalker, Malak. They're going to have a lot more focus on their teams. So they can drop a bunch of R7 Malaks and General Skywalkers in the front and just shit all over the smaller guild and just beat them. But it's really strange. They go, we don't understand how it works. And that's kind of baffling to me that they wouldn't understand how this could be mismatched. Like how this could cause problems with sandbagging. Yeah, it's really awkward. Anyway, another thing from economy that I think is worth mentioning is, I didn't know this, so they said when the Imperial Retaliation was launched, shard rewards for Rolo and IPD were increased from 1 to 2 per victory. And then they asked, will Watt and Cam missions be treated similarly? And they said no. Still 1 per that way. To all the devs, blah, 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 blah. Journey guide, there's somebody is like licking their butthole there. It's really interesting that somebody asked like how many players unlock General Skywalker and such, and they didn't give an answer. They just said, oh, well, we found some interesting numbers on various stuff. It's like, okay. Oh, interesting. I didn't notice this one before, so this must be a new ad. Would you consider removing the non-5. Mods from the mod challenges as quality of life update? And they said, yeah, we're planning to do this. So that's cool. I like that. Getting more 5. Mods is definitely a big deal, as I'm finding myself coming up a little bit short now and having to try to farm new mods instead of slicing mats. Somebody brought up the gear crunch being lessened, and they aren't, let's see. They say they've already eased the gear grind. So, interesting. They say they are planning more things past the Kairos and the daily activities being bumped to 5, territory war rewards, reduce the cost of ship energy, refresh rate ship energy, that kind of thing. and added G12 Plus to ship notes. Yeah, so they said that like they do have some more things planned to try to help ease the gearing crunch, but once again, I wouldn't hold my breath. Then weirdly, it's like they answered every single question that they could have on artwork. So I'm just going to skip over that entire thing. I don't think any of it's really relevant. I mean, some of it might be interesting if you're really interested in what's going on with the artwork and such, so do look that up. But I'm not going to waste most people's time by trying to talk through any of this. Although, interesting. Somebody asked, Man City or Liverpool to win the Premier League? And Raging Spaniard says, I'm going to go with Liverpool. So, yeah, as a Liverpool supporter, attaboy, boy. Alright, let's see. No, for content, there's no plans to add Mandalorian guys at all. Sometime in the next year, maybe. Journey guide, no. Interesting. Whatever happened to arcade mythic raids? The whole scoring system was a neat idea and interesting to take, but it's been a year since nothing really there. Assault battles, no mythic events. They already said they aren't going to do that. Yeah, they're definitely not doing mythic raids for the current raids. Second month in a row they've answered that. Same way, not going to happen. Technical issues. Bugs disappearing. Sorry, I'm going a bit slow here. It's like I had some things I wanted to focus on, but when in this recent refresh, there's like a lot more that they've added that I didn't get a chance to read yet. So I've been kind of like, oh, where'd that come from? Oh, where'd that come from? Anyway, they've announced that they've got some like a battle restart tech, but it's an interesting thing where they're like. They say they have to look for the next source of disappearing buttons, so they're actively working on the disappearing buttons issue. 5's bug was not fixed. It still needs to be 5 still needs to be in the 5th spot. Otherwise, his sacrifice doesn't happen. The unending loyalty buff duration not refreshed when reapplied bug is still live. Top Hat says they don't even know about it, basically. He just says, I'll look into it, so they weren't working on that at all. So that's still an issue. They still have no fix for the watch shards not being provided from the for the guilds that missed out, like my guild. Alright. Quality of life. There's a lot going on here, but none of it's like, hey, we did this. It's all like, oh, we planned to do that. Oh, we've been looking into that. Oh, that's on the list, etc. So nothing really to do this. This is the most important question that was asked, so I'm not going to read it in its entirety just because that's kind of not my move, but I will go over it. So they were asking about the difficulty in the territory battle, Lightside Geo territory battle, and that players are worried about a new edition of like paywall gearing, essentially, like improvements to already geared stuff. And they basically say here it's supposed to be a long-term piece of content, so the difficulty is intentional at this rate. So currently, as the game sits, you're not supposed to be able to finish this at all. No matter how much money you spend, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much your guild wails out, you will not max this event as the game sits right here. And then they say they wanted it extra hard, just because sometimes players come up with things that are not what... Because obviously players test stuff and they don't. So they want to make sure that there's no way for players to do well now without later improvements. And they said they're actively monitoring player participation. And if everybody sort of moves to light side Hoth, they're going to have to change the difficulty because they want people using this content, even though none of us can really do anything with it. They also said, we do not at this time have an expansion of relics, level cap increase, etc. planned in the next 3 months. Which means the mastery thing that they've mentioned before being improvable outside of the relic might be it. And also 6-dot mods, you might need to be able to slice those up to like 6A or whatever, like the gold 6-dot gold mods or whatever, going to a 7-dot mod even. That could be in the cards. So that's something to be really aware of. They didn't say no, which still wouldn't mean anything, but the fact that they haven't said those specifically means that they might be working on that. There was a question about the archetypes, about whether that's going to be just based on the relic thing, and this is where they say that the mastery, the archetype thing, is going to be places outside of the relic system. So there will be stuff that will increase your mastery going forward. So whether that's another piece of relic or something, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, they've talked about this before, but someone asked about abilities that stack, sort of like Asajj and Daka and stuff, so you can get that. And they said that they're they would like to get their own buff icon for stuff like that, and so that's kind of cool. That said, not a single mention of battle logs, not one. Not a single mention about that. Not a single mention about any of the cheating problem. You know, nothing about kind of any of the stuff that have been ongoing issues that they have not addressed. They have fully dodged in this entire Q&A. As I read through it, I didn't see anything about battle logs. I didn't see anything about cheating. I didn't see really, you know, it doesn't bode well, really. They've broken another territory battle like release, so that was crap and needs to be shut down. And then, you know, they didn't mention the new raid that's supposed to be coming in January, so that's probably pushed back. They didn't mention anything to do with the new releases of the new films, so that's interesting because they've been bigging that up for the last 2 months or so. So all in all, this is like not a very good month here. I found it telling that they spent most of their time talking about the art, like game art. Like, really? You've just fucked your territory battle release that, and you're talking about game art. I mean, there was, I don't know. With that in mind, I mean, is there anything else to say? I guess it's just, you know, fuck us, right? Anyway, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. You know, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'm going to be looking over this. Going to have some time off in December. I'm going to be doing some traveling, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with my Grand Arena going forward. We'll see what's on offer, or whether I want to just go for Trapped in Carbonite or something. Anyway, have a good one.